My name is John Filatico. I'd like to spend the next couple minutes talking to you about my experience in purchasing a vehicle from Chris Mylin. I was first introduced to Chris from a mutual friend of ours that basically knew that I would be looking for a vehicle sometime this fall. He suggested that I contact Chris and explain to me how Chris went about purchasing vehicles through auctions, and that he could get me a good deal. With that, I spoke to Chris. I think it was back sometime in August, early August, and we spoke maybe for 5 minutes, just explaining to him that I was in the market for an Audi A6, and I would be looking to purchase something the beginning of October. We left it basically that either Chris or I would get back to each other in early October and talk about it a little bit more. The beginning of October, Chris did get in touch with me, and he just basically asked me if I was still interested in purchasing a vehicle, and I said yes, I was, and we talked a little bit regarding his process and how he went about purchasing vehicles. Basically, he told me that he looked for vehicles that would be coming up in auctions, that he looked as far west as Illinois and as far south as Florida. And he asked me if I could give him some information regarding the vehicle that I was interested in purchasing. There just so happened to be a vehicle on the internet that actually was a year newer vehicle, but had the same options that I was looking for. During the discussion with Chris, I told him that I was a little nervous from the standpoint that I had always purchased my vehicles. I'd always dealt with the dealerships or whoever I purchased my vehicles from myself, and turning it over to someone that I really didn't know, but came highly recommended by our mutual friend, that he that this was a new, just something new and unusual, and I was a little uncomfortable with it. He put me at ease. I mean, there was never any pressure to purchase a car from him, but he did put me at ease in regards to he was very careful what he purchased, and that he had a very good clientele. As a matter of fact, I think he told me that a lot of his clients were good friends, or ended up being good friends. So it made me feel good. Within a couple days, Chris had sent me some emails, pictures of vehicles that he had found, and he found one down in Atlanta. At that time, we talked money in regards to how much money I wanted to put down, where I wanted to be as far as a car payment, where I wanted to be as far as paying for a vehicle, how much I wanted to pay for a vehicle. And Chris looked at it, and he said that with this specific vehicle, he felt that he could reach my goal, or come within my goal. At that point, he gave me a number of a financial institution where I could get my loan from, and I called them and spoke to a specific person, and she took some information over the phone and basically gave me the credit I needed to purchase this vehicle. And that gave Chris the go-ahead to go ahead and bid on this vehicle. The vehicle ended up, he did end up purchasing the vehicle, and he had it transported up from Atlanta, and he went through the vehicle, detailed it, and funny story, he lives about 20 miles from my home, and the day that I was supposed to pick the vehicle up, he called me and said that he had just worked on the vehicle that evening, actually early into the morning, to get it cleaned up and ready for me to pick up, and that he wanted to come down and pick me up and bring me back to his home, and so I could pick the vehicle up because he wanted me to see the vehicle absolutely clean, uh, not road dirt or the rain or whatever that was going on that day. So he actually came down and he picked me up and drove me back to his house and um, showed me the vehicle. It was in his garage and all cleaned up. Went through it with me, and we signed the papers. And basically, I was off. So the fears that I had were basically you know uh, taken away from the standpoint that Chris had really done a nice job. He had taken great care in what my needs were. Um, at one point, I told him that if the car needed to be detailed more than what normally would be done, that I would be willing to pay. And Chris refused. He said, I told you that I would come in at this figure, and I will not go above that. I found Chris obviously to be a man of his word. He came in within $100 less than the number that I gave him, and that was after all of the fees for the loan, the transport fees, the auction fees, and everything else. So he did an excellent job, and I would recommend Chris for um, uh, anyone that may be in the market looking for a vehicle.